Foremost, grateful for the opportunity to be here today. And my number one goal is to help to impart some information for you about the markets, what's going on, the changing dynamic within the real estate community, and how that is affecting our business. Does everybody hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up. All right, good. All right, so I encourage questions. Okay, we're going to talk about a lot of things today. And again, please get those questions out. I know Yvonne's going to be looking for them, and she'll kind of step in and go over a few if need be. But I want to start out with just where we're at in the market, from where we were last year to this year and some of the changes. So I'm going to share my screen here. All right. And this data is pulled up by MBS Highway, which is a company that I use to kind of give me real-time data. We also go through markets and what's going on. But I pulled this up this morning, and
Hey, Matt, I have to apologize. I missed one of our sponsors. Are you okay if she hops in really quick?
Absolutely.
Sorry about that, Amy. Go ahead. We have the insurance minute. I totally skipped you over. Go ahead and take
That's okay. Sorry, Matt, I'll just be really quick. Just wanted to give you just a few little pointers that could help you as agents provide value to your customers or your clients once you have completed the sale. And that's, you go through a home inspection, but then after the sale is complete, they're going to go through an insurance inspection as well. And some of the things that they're going to look for that might cause issue to your insureds is going to be things like peeling of exterior paint, overgrown vegetation or trees that are touching the home, a lot of debris in the yard, cracking concrete, soffits or downspouts that are missing. These are things, or even the age of the roof. If the roof has lots of layers on it, or it's an older roof, 20 years or older, these are things that the home inspector is going to come back, and it's either going to cause them to cancel their insurance policies, or they're going to need to fix them. And sometimes these repairs can be kind of costly. So these are things to kind of be aware of as you look at houses with your clients that might cause issue with insurance that you might want to address before they actually do the purchase. So appreciate your time. So Amy with White Knight.
Thanks, Amy. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry about that.
All right. Yeah, no worries. Let me get back in, share my screen. All right. Okay. So back to our little real estate report card here. So this was pulled up. It's lagging just a little bit, but it's really good information for kind of where we're at right now. And then I'll share with you what I pulled up yesterday, which was very interesting right off of the MLS. So first off, this is for Utah County, and I have the ability to pull this for each individual county, and they're really, really close right now for the state of Utah. So I'm going to kind of go over each area here. First off, median home price, Utah County, $369. That is awesome, and it has continued to increase over time. We've got, as far as the appreciation in the last 5 years, we've had an appreciation rate of 7% per year over the last 10, 3.5, and then since we started keeping records, 4.23. All right, so in appreciation, things have been going great. Forecasted, we still, even with COVID, anticipate, a 3.7% increase in average median home price in Utah County, and we're anticipating 21% over the next 5 years. And so again, for your clients that are kind of sitting there saying, well, I'm kind of waiting, I think that I'm expecting a big real estate bubble to burst here and all of a sudden prices going to go down. It's not the case. And I'm going to kind of go through that a little bit here as we go through this slide. So you've got your appreciation, going over the next 5 years. Down here, this is inventory. Okay, now when this was taken was about, I think about a month ago, it ended. And we had a year-over-year inventory difference of 17%. Now the numbers I just barely pulled showed that Utah County is actually down 37% on active listings. year over year. Salt Lake County, 37%, 30% statewide. So for those of you out there that are, that have buyers that are looking to buy something, how crazy it is right now. We have a third less listings on the market today than we did last year. And that's a huge difference. Last year it was crazy as far as being able to try to find inventory, but right now it's even less. And so a lot of the strategy we're going to be talking about as far as how to put in, offers that are going to be great and are going to compete with, the 7 or 8 other offers that are coming in on a lot of these properties. How do we navigate that and help our clients? Over here, this is a really interesting graphic. So this is Utah County numbers. 207,000 renters. 52,000 of them right now could afford to purchase a home. And that's at our values that we're at right now with our median home prices. So that's a pretty good percentage. 25% could move out today and find something. This over here lets us know, again, another graphic just about our inventory levels. So right now, this is the number of household formations in the next year. So right around 8,000 people are going to need to have housing. Okay, homes being built, 5,048. First-time home purchases to be taken from the inventory, 5,194. So you can see we have a really big difference here as far as availability, the number of homes being built, and the number of people that need housing. And when we look at this and you look to say, okay, well, supply and demand, our supply is very, very low and is going to continue to be that way for some time. And we're going to talk about some of the driving forces here in a minute for why, we're having this major push right now into the market and why we have a number of homes that are just not being listed. I thought that this was very telling as well, just how strong Utah is right now. So, we're looking, this is Utah County, has an unemployment rate hanging right around 5.47% with the national average at about 13. And so we're doing much, much better there. Again, we've just had a little bit of a dip, but we're still very, very strong as far as the people that are employed. And again, when we look at COVID and how that's really affected, the country as far as people being laid off, a majority of the percentage of people that have been laid off are in those service-related industries, and they're for the most part some of your lower-paying jobs. Most of these people don't have the ability to buy a house right now. And so we still have a number of people that are ready to go, that can buy something right now. The trick is finding it, right? Affordability index, this is kind of a fun graphic too. This means that if we're at 120 right now, $1,000 a year, so if you're making that, then you can afford a home with 20% down. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea about income levels and where we need to be. I also want to pop in here real fast and just show where we're at on the markets, because this is, on the lending side, this is what we look at every single day, all right? This is the bond market, and this looks really flat, okay? And I'm going to tell you the reasons why in just a minute, but I want you to notice where we are as we look at kind of some of our longer time frames here. The bond market is where we get mortgage-backed security. So when you get a loan, we're purchasing a mortgage-backed security on the bond market. And as the bond market goes up, interest rates go down. Okay, so if we go back, to 2018, we have just done really, really well. All of this chaos right here happened right when we got notice of what was going on with COVID, and it really started to hit. Now, to give you an idea about how this moves, when we go from 98 to 99 to 100, okay, so for every 200 basis points, generally that correlates to a half a point of rate when you're looking at about a 200 basis point difference here, okay? And things have kind of changed a little bit over time, but you can see that we have massive movements in here. but now we've been very, very flat over time. So if I go back into our last 6 months, the government has been coming in and basically purchasing a few $1 billion a day in bonds to make sure that we've stayed really relatively flat. Okay, so interest rates have done very, very well. And all of our projections are that our interest rates are going to continue to improve or stay the same, pretty close for at least a year. That's what most economists are saying right now. So we're going to be in this really, really great rate environment, for the foreseeable future. And interest rates right now, government loans, so this is VA, FHA, you're looking in high twos for most programs. Some can get into the mid twos. For your conventional programs, you're in the low threes, and some are in the upper twos. So it is a fantastic time to buy. Again, our issue is how do we really go about building a platform and a program that we can roll out to people, okay, that we're going to be able to help them get into homes. Let me see here. I'm going to make sure I'm not sharing. Okay, is everyone okay? Can you see me okay? Someone chime in.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Can hear you great.
All right, awesome. Okay, so let's talk about where the drive is right now for the industry. Right now, we've got COVID, and it's been with us for a while. We've had a lot of us have dealt with having to quarantine ourselves in our homes for, a couple of months, right? These people that have been in apartments and in condos and in townhomes right now, if you ask them, would you be okay doing quarantine again in the place where you're currently living? You're going to have a very large percent of them come back and say, absolutely not. We want to have a yard. We want to have more space. We want to have, if we have to do this again, come fall, winter, and any type of a semblance to what, where we've been, we don't want to do it where we're at. We want to make that move. We want to change and get into something that's going to be different. So there is a huge demand right now for people to move out of their smaller spaces into something that's going to fit a little bit better for where they're at. Now, of course, our issue is inventory. The hard thing is that that person who has that $400,000 or $500,000 or $600,000 home is sitting there saying, well, I know I could sell at top dollar right now, but where do I go? There's very few homes that I could go to and select. And that is definitely an issue right now that we're having to combat, as we're kind of looking at what we're doing. I know in talking with Jack earlier, Andrews with Edge, who did his little presentation, and some other builders as well, they are so far out with contracts, people that are buying things, that it is hard to keep up with that demand. So we're seeing it all over the board. Okay. So our interest rate environment, we kind of talked about that. Loans and our guidelines for loans. If you've noticed or been, aware of kind of what's been going on, before COVID, most lenders were able to do loans. If someone had credit scores in the 500s, we could make something work. There were portfolio programs. There were programs, even FHA would take it down to that level. That's really changed. Right now, for most of us in the lending world, we're looking at, say, a 620 credit score at a minimum to move forward. And so the guidelines have really tightened. A lot of the really cute, is what I like to call them, portfolio programs, are gone. We have a couple that are trying to start to work their way back in, but it's a little more difficult right now. You've got to have, a little bit better credit score. You've got to be able to come in and, if you're self-employed, you've got to be able to prove a little bit more about, what you're doing and your income. But loans are still happening, and they're happening at an amazing rate. I think for us in our industry, we've been very, very blessed, both real estate and lending, that we're able to still be working, we're still able to help people. And let's be honest, there are still people that need housing. There are still people that need to make a change and move into something different. Whether it's a younger family needing to, get into something with more bedrooms and more bathrooms, or a senior couple that needs to move out of their home that has stairs into something that's more accessible. That or people that are moving out of state. Now I can tell you, kind of the reverse is true right now. At least in my neighborhood, we have so many people coming in from out of state, and this is not just California. I mean, we're talking about Illinois, Colorado, back east. And a lot of it is because our jobs are really pretty good here right now. And so, and Utah's a great place to be. So we're continuing to see that, which is great. But again, a lot of demand, very little supply. Okay. So I wanted to kind of go in. So that's kind of the update on where the market's at. And I'm really not telling you guys anything you don't already know. So one of the things that is really changing for us industry-wide, okay, this is lending, this is real estate, and I could probably go down the line of a number of different services that are seeing this. We are being attacked as an industry from companies that are trying to make it very, very easy to get our services without us, okay? So this great device that we have, right, that is a part of our lives, this phone that we use, this is trying to replace us in our industry. I went on today to Open Door, pulled it up, and for those of you who don't know, this is a one-stop shop where you pull out your phone, you basically say, yes, I want to sell my home. They send you an offer, cash offer. Yep, we'll buy it for you. You don't have to list it. You don't have to have anyone come in it. We're just going to buy it from you. Done. Okay. And I can do it all from right here. I actually filled out the form just for fun to see how long it would take. Okay. It took me all of 3 minutes. And all I had to do is enter in my phone number. And immediately I would get, well, I haven't entered in my number because I was doing this. I'm just out of morbid curiosity to see how crazy this is right now, that I would get an offer on my house instantaneously, cash, done. Okay, same thing goes with what we're dealing with in the lending industry. Okay, I can do a loan right here on my phone, done. I don't have to do anything. All right, now we know there's a lot of things that go into that, but that's the perception for a digital community that is saying, why do I need to use you? Why do I need to use you as a real estate agent to list my house? Why do I need to pay a real estate commission? Why do I need to have you as an agent to help me find a house? Why do I need to use you, Matt, as my lender? I can do it all here right from my phone, okay? So one of the questions I want each of you to write down, okay? Yes, I want you to be interactive here. Write this question down. What makes me different? I'm going to wait a minute. I want you to write this down. What makes me different? Because your answer to this is going to mean everything to you. All right, as far as the direction that you're going to go with your business. What makes me different? Now, if you can't answer that question, okay, now I'm looking right squarely at you, Yvonne. If I ask you what makes you different, and you can't tell me in a listing presentation, you can't tell me as far as if I'm asking you to help me find a house, if you don't know that answer right off the tip of your tongue on why I need to use you instead of using this, or instead of using another agent, then you need to find it out. Okay, today we're going to explore a few things that you can do to be able to answer that question on what makes me different. Okay, so as it was talked about, I'm a high trust coach, And I applaud your company for really pushing coaching. It is awesome. It works. There are great coaches out there that will be able to help you and guide you and direct you into helping you succeed. The best sports players out there are only the best because they're coached. The best in any industry is only the best because they're coached. Why? Not only is it new ideas, but it's accountability. It's saying, okay, you've got this great idea. When are you going to get it done? When is your homework done? Let's make sure that you're going to get this accomplished so that you can move on to the next level and really reach your goals. So when I'm coaching, I think about three different factors. Okay, the first thing is a fundamental mind shift. And this mind shift has to happen, okay? I want you to look at the modern day real estate professional. What do? Well, I help my sellers sell their homes, and I help my buyers buy their homes. That's what I do. If I was to ask, 100 real estate agents, that would be about the answer I would get, all right? Now, I want you to shift your mind from I am the business of helping buyers and sellers buy and sell real estate to I am in the business of helping my clients manage their real estate assets. Whoa. Okay, that is a huge, huge difference. I'm in the business of helping my clients manage their real estate assets. Okay, in our world, we call that a disruptor. We just said something that is different, that sounds different, that resonates. When you say that to people, they're going to say, okay, well, whoa, I've never worked with a real estate agent that does that. Tell me more, right? Now, how do we help our clients manage their real estate assets? Okay, if we look at it, if I'm in the business of, in my business, if I'm in the business of selling loans, I'm worried about what? The sale. I sell a loan and I move on to my next sale. For a real estate agent, same thing. If you're in the business of selling real estate, you sell real estate and then you're on to your next client looking to help them sell more real estate, okay? If we change that around to say, I'm no longer in the business of selling loans, I'm in the business of managing mortgages and managing real estate assets over time. And for you as agents, you're in the business of managing your real estate portfolio and helping your clients manage those real estate assets over time. This is wealth management, okay? That is the one thing that this phone, no matter how easy and swift and simple it can be to actually do real estate right off of this without having to move from your couch, that is the one thing it is never going to be able to do, is to give me strategy on where I'm going with my real estate assets. Okay, so we made this switch, right? Got a thumbs up. We're now in the business of helping our clients manage their real estate assets over time. Now, how do we do that? Okay, first and foremost, we need to know what the goals are for our clients. What are their short-term goals? What are their long-term goals? How do we integrate that into the home that we are going to get them into? How are we going to integrate that into how we're going to sell their home and when? Okay, so these are questions we're going to have to ask ourselves. And then how are we going to dive deep with these people about how, what those steps are? So we train on something called the high trust interview. It's very simple. What is most important about selling your home to you? What is most important about buying a home to you? We're asking these questions not to sell something. We're asking these questions to elicit an emotional response. We want to have a connection with the people that we work with. We're people. We want that. We desire that. We need that in our lives. What is most important about the 20 years that you've lived in this house? Tell me about your memories. Tell me about the things. Why did you decide to buy here? What are the things that you have loved about living here? Those are questions that are going to sound different, okay? The competition that's going in that house is trying to get a listing is asking for what? They're saying, okay, how many bedrooms, how many baths, how many what improvements? Here's my market analysis and what I've done. This is the value and what we're going to be able to sell this for. These are all the marketing things I'm going to do. But they completely missed the boat on the most important piece of that presentation, which is relationship building, connecting with people. So this is when you go forward and say, what is most important about this home to you? What has been most important about living here over the last 5 years, 10 years, whatever it's been? Tell me some of the reasons for why you are deciding to move. How is this changing with your life? My goal is to help you in any way I possibly can. But before I can do that, I need to know more about you. I need to know more about where you're trying to go. And when we do that, we're going to sound different. We're going to feel different with our clients. What about for your buyers? Okay. You get that call on the phone and they say, okay, so I'm looking for a house. I'm a first-time home buyer. What do we initially react to immediately? Okay, great. I'm super excited. It's like I've got this fish, right? I'm trying to hold on to it and say, okay, so what price point, square footage, where do you want to be, bedrooms, baths? Tell me a little bit about, kind of what the house looks like. Okay, we've missed it. What if we say instead, I'm so excited to help you. And my number one goal is to provide you an excellent experience. I am most concerned about making sure that I can help this home that you're going to buy fit into your overall short and long-term goals so that we can continue to build your real estate portfolio. But before I do that, I need to ask you some really important questions. First off, what is most important about buying a home to you? And then we let the silence set in and have them tell us everything for why it is that they're wanting to purchase. And they may say something, very, very shallow and say, well, we just need a bigger home for our growing family. Awesome. So if you were able to get a bigger home and it had a yard and everything, what would that mean to you and your family? We're going a little bit deeper with the question. Okay, we're going to find out the true why on why they need to move. We're going to find the true why to why that seller needs to sell. Once we do that, we've developed a relationship, and I can tell you relationships will trump anything that we get from a digital device. It'll trump any other person that is coming in and selling their pitch on why they're the most amazing person in the world. To be honest with you, I don't care. If I'm the seller or I'm the buyer, I don't care how amazing you are. I really don't. Show me that you care about me. Ask questions that will elicit an emotional response within me. Okay? That's what's important. That's what we miss. Okay? So we go through that conversation. Okay, so that's number one. We build strategy. We're real. We form a connection. Number two, what am I doing as far as my 5-star customer service experience? All right, now, hitting on this briefly, and again, we've talked about this before, those of you that have been in the class, if you ask your client today, what would give me a 5-star review at the end of our transaction? What do you think they're going to say? They're going to say, well, we want good communication, we want ease of transaction, we want you to close on time, we want to get into the house, we want you to be trustworthy. I would argue that all of that is what is expected of us in our industry. It's expected. If we don't do those things, not only are we not going to get a 5-star, we're going to get probably 1 or 2 with a really bad review somewhere. Okay, what we want to do is we want to elevate our game to do what is not expected. We want to provide a 5-star experience for that client. Why? Not only for them to be able to say, oh my gosh, that was the most amazing thing ever, but we want them to be able to shout out to the world, to their sphere of influence. You were the most amazing agent and the most amazing experience I've ever had. And to my sphere, you would be dumb not to use them. That's what we want. That's the whole idea, right? So, and I've got a lot of ideas there. That's going to take much longer than the time we have to be able to go through them. But we need to figure out what that 5-star experience looks like. Okay, so important, so important. Okay, quality over quantity every single time. We have got to be focused on that. Okay, number 3, and this one is key. This is what seals the deal with your client for life. You ready? You need to have a client retention program in place. All right, with time frames systematically put into your calendar on when you are going to touch base with your client. Okay, you've promised them that you manage their real estate assets. Well, how do you do that? You've got to set a time at least once a year to do exactly what you just said you're going to do. Okay, we call this an annual review. And with an annual review, you're going to be calling them and just saying, hey, on a once a year basis, I'm going to provide a market analysis CMA on your home. Okay, once a year, it's going to be done. We're going to have a quick conversation just to make sure that everything's going okay with the house. We might bring in our mortgage professional and talk about how things are going with the loan and just make sure everything is integrated as far as the your cash flow and your position. But we're going to manage this asset for you. And we're going to do this on a yearly basis. So you're going to hear from me once a year for the rest of your life. All right. Now, what are we doing with this? Number 1, we're staying top of mind with this client. Number 2, any time that they feel like they need to make a move, if we are consistent with this management of this real estate asset, they're going to look to us. Okay, they're going to say, you continue to be an advisor to me. I'm not going to shop around. Why would I? You're the one that has continually built the relationship with me. Okay, and then number 3, anyone in their sphere that is talking about buying or selling real estate, immediately they're going to think about you. Why? Because you've continued to build the relationship. Now, I know, there's a lot of you that will probably send out mailers, happy birthday cards, things like that. Now, all of that is great. But I can tell you, when you switch into, I am now going to be providing you with strategic advice once a year on what is happening in the market, everything changes. Your business will change. Now, for those of you that have been in this business a very long time and you have done hundreds of transactions, the starting point for this is go back, get everybody in their months on when they closed, and just make your list. And say, coming up here, July 1, I'm going to hit all of my July people. Anyone I have ever done business with, I'm going to give them a call. I'm going to say, hi, this is Matt. And I'm with Presidio. It is, and let's say I haven't talked to this person for 5 years, okay? Whoa, my bad. I did a transaction with you 5 years ago. I just wanted to call first and foremost to see how you're doing. How's life? How's it been? You were on my mind today. Okay, they're going to go through and tell you about how things are going. You're then going to say, one of the things that I have really become passionate about is making sure that I am managing every one of my clients' real estate assets. And a part of that is I am now doing an annual review. And I would love to be able to set up a time to do that. It's going to take us probably 5 to 10 minutes. We can do it over the phone. We could do it in a Zoom call, whatever you prefer. But my goal is to make sure that you always know how this asset is progressing over time. I'd like to incorporate my lender into this and make sure that they're able to integrate everything in as well, because together we want to make sure that we're taking care of you. And this is completely free. All right, you will see your businesses explode when you do this. It's a promise. Okay, in my own business, I have seen it. It is amazing. Okay, when you make that shift into I am now managing my clients' real estate assets. I am no longer in the business of selling. Okay, it changes everything. Okay, so we've got those three, right? So first, got to make sure that we are different. We're building strategy. We're asking the right questions, deep questions. Second, we're talking about what makes us unique as far as our 5-star customer service experience. Experience, right? This is going to be beyond just the loan. This is, once I've started with you, we're now going to be in this for life. Okay, we're building clients for life. Third, annual review. We've got to be very, very strategic and deliberate with these reviews. They've got to be set up. You have to follow through with them. A lot of times when we look at our database and we say, okay, how do I get more people? Do I send out more mailers? Do I knock a bunch of doors? Every single one of you knows hundreds of people. You do, and you've built relationships with them. Some of them have waned a little bit, all right? Put on your brave pants and your brave shirt and say, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to connect and call 5 people a day with my number one goal of checking in, building a relationship, and seeing how best I can help them. Now, for some of us, are like, oh man, I don't want to do that. That's scary. All right, we need to get over the fear. And again, prospecting, you're trying to sell something. I don't want you to prospect. I want you to go out and build relationships. Building relationships is fun. It's engaging. It's warm. You're not trying to sell something. But by doing it, you're able to help people. And when we change our mindset to be able to help people, that makes a huge, huge difference. Anyway, so that's going to be kind of that's what sets you apart, right? And so each one of you, as you wrote down your question, what makes me different? What makes me unique? I've given you 3 things that you can really focus on that are game changers, that make you unique, that make you special and different. Not only from this great device that we all use with our phone, but from 99% of every other real estate agent out there that is going to be competing for that same business. You have got to look, sound, and act different than your competition. And you have to be engaging. You know, for those of you that are shy to get on video, do it. Just get out there, be present, be with your people. It's okay. You know, we're not going to look perfect any given day, but our sincerity about what we believe in will ring through. Okay, so I know I'm kind of up on time. Yvonne, any questions that anybody has that I can answer or go into?
Nothing on chat that I can see. Come on, people. Pelt him with questions.
He brought the volume up here. Wasn't quite what it looked like.
We got one. Oh, no, it's just somebody complimenting Matt on his great class. Well, if there's no questions, did you want to finish up, Matt, or are you?
For any of you that sorry, there's feedback there. Oh, thanks. For any of you that have or want to go deeper into any of these subjects, contact Yvonne. She can get you my contact information. I would love to be able to help any of you. Again, my number one goal is to help you be successful. You be the best version of you, and to be able to help a bunch of people along the way and have as much fun as we can in this industry. And again, we are so blessed to be able to be here and to be able to do this. And let's just go do it. Let's take off the fear that we have in front of us, and let's be able to move forward.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks so much. And just a couple of last minute announcements, everybody. We've got, so Champions training ended last week, but we're still doing the Ask the Coach hour from 11 to 12. Usually we do it after the class because the class is from 10 to 11.